As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
I have a question
Lindsay.
for you guys, because I was reading a little bit of analysis about the Bungie deal, the Bungie deal, and one of the things that I thought was interesting was that Sony doesn't have very many subscription-based games. So Halo and Destiny were really attractive in that sense. And that's where I think EA might fall a little short for them. I mean, they do have Apex, and Apex is a little bit different than subscription even. I mean, it's free to play, kind of a different model than although I guess so is Halo to an extent. But anyways, the point is EA does a lot of the same things that Sony does with newer versions of everything, $60 box copies sold once a year. How much do you think that the revenue model for a game is going to play into some of these later acquisitions now? Do you think companies are going to be looking to diversify? Do you think the fact that EA is mostly a box company is going to make it a little harder for them?
Well, I would push back on that last point. I mean, EA, I think the vast majority of their revenue is live services, like specifically the Ultimate Team and Apex. They do break it out, so I don't know specifically what it is, but it's like seven. It's like a significant portion, but I get what you're saying.
It's microtransactions.
It's not subscription. Yes, it's not subscription. It's not subscription.
Not a
it's
monthly
like
WoW style. Yeah.
Microtransactions.
But Paul, you can respond if you want, but I think your question's a great one in the sense that I did see some commentary about how Sony, part of this was to get more live services, kind of games as a service expertise. So I think that you're probably definitely right.
I mean, I'd like to say I wish there was there is probably some rational business study to be done here to say is it better to make acquisitions in companies where your business models are aligned, right? We're really good at microtransactions, they're really good at microtransactions, so it makes sense. Or is it better to buy companies where our business models are radically different? I mean, the Take-Two Zynga thing just threw this all out of whack, if you ask me, right? Like, that couldn't be more polar opposite business models. So if they can justify that from a business standpoint, my view is we can probably justify any acquisition of a gaming company by another, and literally any acquisition of a gaming company by a tech company. What it all, I think, is going to come down to is not business model alignment. It's going to come down to execution once the acquisition's done, what those companies do with the assets. Do they continue to make great games that people want to play, right? Like, to me, it still has to be fun. And all the business models in the world can't make a bad game fun.
And I think you're right, 100% on that. Do you guys ever think that like a guy like someone like Strauss or even like the Zynga, Frank and the Zynga team, do you think they're like, damn, if we had just waited like a couple more weeks, like right now, if Take-Two hadn't announced the Zynga deal, like their stock's probably $200 plus. Like, do you think in any capacity they're kicking themselves like, yeah, we really sort of jumped the gun a little bit doing that? Or you think it's just like, no, we have a plan, we're executing, like this is our strategy? I don't know.
If you're on any side of any of these deals, Jeff, that have happened in the last 4 weeks, would you be upset about any of them? If you were on any side of any one of the companies?
No, but only one of the company's stocks went down when they announced the deal. It seems to me like Take-Two seems to be the only one losing in this whole thing.
Well, because it felt so disjointed, right? Like that one felt, we can all have look, it took us 10 minutes to come up with 12 explanations for why the Sony Bungie thing probably makes sense. Now, is it worth a Star Wars? No. But in the world we live in, that's the price these things are going for. And so that's what it is. The Take-Two Zynga one, I think we all struggle to sort of explain that. And as you know, with public companies, so much of what the stock does is what the message is to shareholders in the market. I think Strauss will forever struggle to tell that story coherently. He's sort of stuck himself with a difficult story to tell on every earnings call. We're way behind here. Let me get caught up on. Greg says, "How about?" There you go. EA goal. I'm not even going to attempt to do it, Greg. A nice try if that was the purpose here, but I cannot. Lindsay, you can try it if you'd like. Tom says, "Have you mentioned Disney with their ESPN brand for the sports angle?" We've talked about Disney, I think, on previous episodes, previous podcasts. They could definitely be a buyer of EA, but they've shown tremendous inability to do anything good with gaming. Maybe more so than any other company. Maybe less than Google, but more than anybody else.
I would actually, before we move on from that, I would actually go as far as say is Disney is the company that makes the most sense to be in gaming that is not in gaming. Like, I get it. Some of these other ones, Apple, Amazon, like they're on the peripheries. You just like, well, Amazon's so damn big, like it makes sense for them to do everything. Disney, it's like, this is what you do. Entertainment, digital entertainment, streaming, theme parks. Like this interactive entertainment is the future of all of that. And you own all these IPs, right? To your point, ESPN brand. They own Star Wars. They own Marvel. You're telling me you couldn't come up with a kick-ass Marvel game? Like, it is a massive, massive strategic blunder that Disney doesn't seem to have any interest in interactive entertainment. And I guarantee you that will change. Right now, I feel like their current CEO and their current strategy is so focused on getting streaming and Disney Plus correct, which is a massive initiative and probably makes sense to put all of their focus on that. But you can bet in the next 5 years, they are going to have, the next CEO, once this guy probably fails, will come in and say, we are going to be an interactive entertainment company, because it makes no sense that they're not in it. It's just too obvious.
To be fair, they do license some of their IP to make games, right? There are Marvel licensed games, but it's not in-house, right? It's all outsourced. Adam says, also, Paul, to your point about Activision, since the board came out publicly supporting Bobby before the specific allegations against him, I'll bet selling was their way to save face. Adam, this couldn't have been a better exit for Bobby. So from a saving face perspective, right? Like, he gets out, big payday.
I would
doesn't
love
really
to
need to face the
with
music.
$500 million. Yeah. If anyone wants to pay me to exit this live stream for $500 million, you know what?
Oh, come on, Lindsay. I'm hurt.
What about the friends you've made along the way?
I know what my friendship is worth now. There's definitely a price tag. Adam says, who said bad games have to be fun? They just have to be profitable.
I heard that's actually Activision Blizzard's tagline.
Yes, that is their tagline. The marketing department phoned that one in. Adam says, what would one Star Wars be worth today, I wonder? I mean, that's not totally the purview of this podcast, but what would one Star Wars be worth in the context of Activision Blizzard at $70 billion and Bungie at $3.6 billion?
Like $18 billion. I guess the only thing you gotta remember, like when Disney bought Star Wars, it was like between the trilogies, and like it kind of like was dead, dying a little bit. So you always have to remember that. But what do you think,
Lindsay?
Oh, I have no good guesses. Please don't make me guess value.
No one has a good guess. That's the whole fun of this. Like, what do you think we took out our spreadsheet and did the math?
I think it's worth one Star Wars is worth 10 Bungies, $36 billion.
So now we're using Bungie as the unit of measurement. I hadn't thought of
that. One Star Wars is 10 Bungies, I think. And 36 billion is also kind of the magic number for like good gaming companies right now. They all go public at like 36 billion. It seems to be a bit of the golden number in the industry. So I think if Star Wars got sold today, 36 billion. That would be my guess.